Good morning, everyone. It's Tammy, and for today's card or today's video, I wanted to show you this cute triple layer fun fold card. I think it turned out really cute, and I'm going to be giving this to someone for St. Patrick's Day, and the one that I'm going to show you is going to be the same version, and I just think it's really cute. So you can use whatever stamps that you have. I thought it was really cool to use one that had a fun, kind of a larger image, and then it had a double sentiment. I thought that was kind of neat. I don't know how many of those I have or if it's even something that you could have, but anything like that would work if you wanted to put an image in here too, or just even if it was a happy birthday, you could put happy birthday here and celebrate here or whatever, things like that. But I thought it was really cool how this worked out. And this is a cute stamp set from Anita Jeram. It's a 4-leaf clover from Colorado Craft. So this is the stamp set that I'm using, and I just think it's really cute. And let me show you how easy it is to make. So you take a piece of, so you need regular cardstock, so like a solid colored cardstock, and then you need printed paper, and then you need some white paper for your sentiment or your stamping. And I didn't include the dimensions for all of the white because it's going to be based on whatever stamp set you have. So the dimensions for the plain cardstock and the patterned cardstock will be below. And I also used a ribbon as embellishment, so that was an extra thing that I used. Again, you can use whatever you want. I also used my alcohol markers to color this in, and then I used a glittery marker for the 4-leaf clover. And this says, "A good friend is like a 4-leaf clover, hard to find and lucky to have." So it's really cute. So let's go ahead and get started. I used an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I actually already started cutting and scoring. But what you do is you cut the 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper in half on the short side. So on the 8.5 side, I cut this at 4 1/4. So now this measures 4 1/4 by 11. And I want to score this at 4 different places. I want to score it at 2.5, and then again at 3 3/4, and then again at 6 3/4, and then 8 1/4. So that's what this one is scored at. And then I also need to use the same cardstock, and I need to cut this to measure 4 by 4. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Let me zoom you out just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm taking my taking my cardstock. I'm going to cut this at 4 by 4 square. And then I need another sheet that's 4 by 4. And then I need my pattern paper. I sometimes refer to this as designer series paper, but it's just pattern paper. So if I say DSP or designer series paper, this is what I'm talking about. And this measures, it should measure 3 7/8. I think I might cut it down a little bit more. Oh no, I think I have them right here. Sorry, I was using a different sheet. So I need 2 of the pattern paper cut at 3 7/8 square. So 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. So I have 2 of those, and these are going to layer on top of the pattern of the regular cardstock. And then I also need a piece of 2 1/4 by 4. So I'm going to put this in at 2 1/4. And I want to measure 4 inches. And that's what it is. So this is 2 1/4 by 4. I'm not really sure why I want this to be 4 now that I'm thinking about it. Oh, because it's going to go in the inside of this. Perfect. Okay. I just had to put it in my head. So I think that's all the cutting and scoring that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and move my cutter. And then I have all these little scraps. I'm going to toss these little baby ones, but these bigger ones I will keep and see what I can use them on. And I'm not going to put them far because who knows what I might need for this card. And then I'm going to take this, and it doesn't matter which side you do, they're both the same. So I'm going to fold this top one down, and then before I burnish anything, I'm just going to go ahead and fold it with my hands, and then fold this, and then I'm just doing like the accordion fold opposite each way. And it will end up looking like this. So now that you have that folded, I'm going to just burnish the edges. And I'm going to turn it over and burnish these edges as well. Like that. So then it will lay as flat as it can lay. It's you know, it's a double folded card and it's thick cardstock. So you could play with it a little more maybe if you wanted to, but it'll get heavier once you put everything on there and it'll weigh itself down. So these are actually going to layer on top to make it kind of cool looking. Let me show you. I'm going to take my layers. I'm going to take the pattern paper and I'm going to just glue this to its base. And I am using Art Glitter Glue. It is one of my favorites. You can find it if you Google Art Glitter Glue. I think it might even be on here. artglitter.com. So check that out. And you might even be able to purchase it on Amazon. I just love Amazon and their fast delivery. I live in the middle of nowhere. Well, not true. I live in a small little town and I get my delivery within a couple of days, which is fabulous. I used to live in a much larger area and I could sometimes even get same day delivery. That I can't get here, but that's okay. So now what I'm going to do is these are going to be glued to the layers of this card like this. And so I want to start with the middle one, and I don't want it to, I'm going to kind of so let me start over. I didn't explain this very well. I pulled this top one back, and now I'm just looking at this space from the score line to the bottom of the card. And I want this to kind of center in that area. So I want to give a little bit of a border at the top, along the sides, along the bottom. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on just this area. And I am taking my glue and just kind of making an outline. And then I'm making sure that I get the bottom here and then everything in between. And then to be sure I've gotten it where I want it on this, I want to put a little bit of glue, but I'm not going all the way down. I'm just going about a third of the way down and just doing the outline. So I know that I have it solid on here too. And I like using glue because it's a little bit more forgiving than the tape. So I can kind of position it if I need to. I can kind of wiggle it if I need to. So then I have this on there. And then I'm going to push the top part down. So now I have a bigger area. And for this one, I'm going to center this one on the top part of the card. But I want it I want it to match up with the sides of this, but I'm not really being particular on how even it is up and down. I just want it to give me a nice border, like the same size border on those three sides. So I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm just going to take my glue and bring it all the way down. And it probably won't be as wide or as up to the very tip top as I want this. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. I probably went down a little too far on that one, but I'm going to do those three sides. And if I did go down too far, I'll fix it. So then I'm just going to center this onto here. And glue it on. I put a little bit too much glue. It just came out the side. Now it does dry clear, so it's not a big deal. Good. And I didn't go too far. It looks fine. So now I have the top layer and the middle layer, and then I just need my bottom layer, which is what this one's for. And this one just gets centered right in the middle of this bottom section. And this, if you remember, measured 2 1/4 by 4. So I did cut a piece of white cardstock that measures 2 1/8 by 3 7/8 that I can put right on the top of here to make a layer here if I want to. But I also, since my sentiment was already stamped, I cut it on a piece of paper. So I don't know if I want it to be this big. I mean, you could make it as whatever size you want, but I'm going to put this on top of here anyway. But I didn't really leave myself enough room to sign it or any of that, so I wanted some extra white. So I think I'll go ahead and layer that now that I'm talking myself into it. I think I will go ahead and put this down. Again, you can make these whites any size you want them to be. If I had made this just a little larger and left myself enough room to sign, I wouldn't even worry about another layer, but because I didn't, I might put it over here to the side a little bit. And then this one too, you can make it whatever size you want, and you can put this wherever you want. In the example, I put it up a little bit, and I put my ribbon on this because I liked it with the sentiment, and I think I'll do the same with it again. So I'm thinking I'm going to, so my ribbon will go here. I'm thinking that that would look fine right there in the middle. So I'm going to put this one in the middle. I'm going to put him right here. I centered him kind of in the middle of, from right to left. I put him in the middle. I put him a little high, but that's because I'm going to have a ribbon right here. So I think I will not center this one. I kind of like it when one is centered and one isn't. And I will put this one over here in the corner, but not entirely in the corner, just kind of like that, I think. And then I'm going to take my image, my cute mouse, the clover, and I'm going to put that on the very top, and I'm going to center him in there. And then I have a piece of ribbon that I'm just going to put here on the bottom and make it into a bow. I don't want it to be too twisted. Let's try this again because I have it twisted. Yeah, that's not twisted. And I do want this off center. So So I'm just doing a knot first. And then I'm going to tie a cute little bow. This is not double-sided, so it doesn't matter which side goes on which makes my life a little easier. And then now I'm just going to play with it to get the size that I want it to be. Bows, man, sometimes they can get you. All right, I think that's where I want it. So now I'm going to snip these sides, or these edges, the bottom of the bow off, whatever that's called. There's a word, but I can't think of it. And then this folds up, and that is that. So isn't that adorable? And how easy was that? It's literally just a few layers, and it worked out so cute. And I like the way that it's folded. It doesn't take up too much extra cardstock. I mean, I'm still using just a half a sheet for the base. Now I did do some layering, so it took up a little bit more that way. But it's a lot of pretty for just a little bit of effort. So hopefully you guys like that, and I hope you try it. I'd love to see your cards. If you do any, send it in a comment. It'd be really cute to see. And this will fit into a regular A2 sized card envelope, and yeah, just fun. So thanks for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. I'll talk with you soon. Bye. Pop.